All right, comrades, welcome back to Road to Kim Jong-gi. I'm going bald, anyways. Oh yeah, I'm begging for likes and subscribes. Like, subscribe, fuck off, whatever. Right. At this point, anybody who watches is either gonna jizz over my channel or find me very a bit too handsome. Let's say, right? Too much. The fuck do the kids say nowadays? Aura, you have so much aura, and then they'll just fuck off anyways. So I want to finish this piece today. I want to just get the foliage down here. I want to get the background architecture. I actually don't even want to spend that much more time on this because I've had my fun with it, but it is time to move on to going back to practicing fundamentals. Actually, reference drawing and then going back to practicing fundamentals, which is the main thing, right? So that, and then this will be like so. Get this nice, and it's really difficult to think about the perspective when you've created a fucking fisheye lens like this. Let's be honest, but it's also very fun because this is the only way you learn, right? It's the only way you're gonna grow, and we all care about growth. Oh wait, is there something else I do in my intro? I think I usually used to beg for something else. Money? No, that's at the end. I don't remember, but I've been trying to pay attention to architecture around me. I saw this really interesting tip on the Artist Lounge subreddit, right? Where when it came to drawing from observation, and somebody said, well, and funny enough, this tip somebody else said was also something they heard from another experienced artist, but it was basically to observe the world around you as if you are an alien, or in my case, an autist, right? In the sense that it's the first time you're seeing any of this. Imagine like when you're looking around, it's the first time you're seeing grass, boulder, house. Like you would pay attention, be like, you would explain it and try to describe it to yourself in a way like this is this sort of boxy shape with this sort of thing and it's jutting out, interesting. Like this is how it seems to fold upon itself. You're basically sort of convincing yourself or deluding yourself into thinking it's the first time you've seen everything. But it's really about, it's like, think about it this way, when you're in a foreign environment, you're paying attention to everything. I think it's the same principle from what I can gather, right? And I guess that's what that's what I'm gonna try to do, I guess, right? Draw like an autist, or not think like an autist, but draw like an expert, I think. Or I draw. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna keep a little bit of symmetry here, but I actually don't even know what I want to do on this side. I might literally just make it the exact same, for lack of it's okay, like I'm trying to think, because obviously horizon line's right around here. What would this be like? This would be more like this, no? So did I do this wrong? I think maybe I did this wrong. Because why is this going upwards? How does that make sense? Because this thing's minor axis is going this way then. So I definitely did this wrong. But why does it look right? What the fuck is going on? Confused. But let's just add some rendering, quote unquote. Again, I'm very well aware this fucking piece is over-rendered to shit. And that seems to be a habit that I have, that I need to break, obviously. It's the habit of wanting to show every detail and not letting the mind fill things in, right? That's the poor habit that I have unfortunately developed, right? So the next step is just to break out of it. But for the time being, because I've already sort of established a certain level of rendering, we can at least try to make it as cohesive and as consistent as possible, right? So again, while I'm doing this, the main thing now is while I'm drawing is to constantly be thinking about the perspective, because I've already established it pretty decently at this point. There's so many elements on the page which all follow relatively the same perspective that, you know, it's not going to be anything incredibly difficult to try to keep it in mind. But at the same time, I am wondering, like, what the hell did I do here? I feel as if, yeah, it feels as if this perspective is off too. So that's something else to keep in mind. But it's okay. This is just one of those things where you learn as you go. And to be honest, again, for a second attempt, this isn't bad. Yeah, because this should be fucking, shouldn't it be converging this way? It's going this way, yeah. So these are actually going completely wrong. This is still a bit off. This is good. This is okay. This is all right. But although this one should have been more like this in terms of an ellipse, because if you were to look at it head on, this would be jutting out forward more. This would be like diagonal. If we were to look at it head on, it'd be coming out at us more, right? From my understanding. So I always have to make sure I say, from my understanding, because then somebody's gonna be like, actually, you're a fucking moron and your understanding is dog shit. But they can be like, bro, I just said from my understanding, you can't criticize me anymore. So, shit. Okay, cool. That's something. Right, and then over here as well, we can add this. Of course, it's going this way. I'm trying to think. It's like all about this horizon line, right? This is really fun, I'm not gonna lie. This is still incredibly fun, but there's a lot of thought to be had. And I know thoughts scare us in more way than one, but okay, if it's going over here, so this would be something like that, so not what I did. Well, I guess I made it go like that, and then we continue onwards, and then this is where I have this shit over here, right? Yeah, well, let's just make the background simple, because architecture can be the focus of perhaps another drawing from imagination session. But again, I am also like partly into doing it, so it's not gonna be perfect. But it is okay, to be honest. Like, yes, it's wonky, there's a lot of things that are off, but of course, but it's all about trying to give a relative sense of believability, right? And I think this looks like a decently believable scene. You know, you can imagine that this is actually happening and everything isn't flat. That's the main point, right? I've tried to make sure that everything is not flat. But let me rest my brain, actually. Oh god, I just fucking burped and threw up yesterday's food. That's pretty tasty still. Yogurt still tastes good. But yeah, I was actually not involved, but I was just watching Broken Draw's stream, his road to 50k, which, by the way, congrats to him on hitting 50k. This was this past weekend. But oh wait, that's wrong. That's wrong. It should have been more like this. Actually, fuck it. Let's just leave it. But yeah, congrats to Broken Draw for hitting 50k. Right? It's fucking amazing. He obviously deserves it, to be honest. Like, he's really, really helped a lot of people, including myself, to get better at art. Well, you know what's actually crazy to me is, because he mentioned me a couple times, because obviously I'm shilling my channel in the chat. Now, obviously just talking to everyone and all that stuff. But he said this thing that apparently he was the reason he did the 25 drawing exercises for memory thing, or like for imagination drawing, right? Was apparently literally because of watching my videos, and he found like he got inspired, I guess, from the things I was doing, and he's like, he was saying a lot of it was taken from my shit. So now I guess that means I get royalties. So get to it, your boy Broken Draw, please and thank you. But apart from that, I was also just shocked. I was like, what the fuck? That's crazy that me, basically a nobody in the YouTube art scene, was inspiring someone. It's insane to me. Or like gave somebody an idea, something along those lines. It's crazy. It's actually crazy. This is obviously a bit off, but where would this be? Okay, this is where we think about the perspective, right? Well, if it's warping, it's all going this way. Is that incorrect? Is this incorrect? I don't know what's incorrect anymore. I can't tell what I've done right and wrong at this point. I think that's incorrect. But then if there's to be an ellipse that I'm going to draw here, what would that look like? My intuition is telling me it'll be like this, but perhaps my intuition is wrong. There you go. Some textures overlapping. Right. I'm trying to think. What the fuck would that look like? This is where my brain energy is needed, right? So this is the horizon line right around here. But this is warping. So it would be something like this. Right? Nope, it should have been more like that, actually. Yeah, see, that's better. Pretty off, actually. Just leave it, forget it. Yeah, okay. Well, there's still supposed to be another room over here. So let's just do that. And this is, I guess it's gonna be like this. So now that I look at this, obviously this is not really in the best perspective either, right? This is warped beyond measure. Like this should not look like the way it is. But hey, I think it's just like relatively things make sense, right? It's a bit of a fucky perspective I've established, so it is what it is. But again, I think right now I can just focus on adding little things. I think I want to keep this as relatively light value, if that makes sense. Maybe it doesn't, but I do want to keep it relatively light compared to the foreground. Because I've already established, like I want at least this to be the main thing people look at, right? Even though it's so much extra shit going on, you know, I would want this to be relatively light in the background, and the front of the foliage to be relatively light, right? So we can just put more, I guess, bookshelves here. Right, like it doesn't have to make too much sense. Something like that. Is that? And it's right there, so you want to make sure it's. Same thing here. Okay, cool. That's all just essentially what can I call it? Sort of fluff detail, right? As long as I keep the horizon line in mind, which is another thing Tyrion was saying. But oh yeah, I was also, because I was self-promoting so shamelessly, I got an extra 15 subscribers. Fucking idiots, you all fell for it, dumbasses. But you know, he was really being kind to, like, I think he has honestly been a really, really good sponsor of this channel, for lack of a better word, right? But anything, I just appreciate having a nice community. I like his community a lot. Everybody's just eager to learn. You know, if I can, as they say, stick my dick in that community and let my seeds flourish, perhaps I can find art friends who actually enjoy drawing the fundamentals. Or just friends in general who actually understand the values. One of my friends, like, I don't see he's memeing, but he gives me so much crap for just drawing fucking squares and circles. I have to always correct him, like, bro, it's boxes and cylinders. It's not squares and circles. Never understand. But okay, and then we got something like this form, right? Something like this. Well, that's wrong. Like that, and then what did I do? Horizon line's like here. okay, but vanishing point is over here. Okay, that's the thing. Vanishing point's all the way over there. So we can just... And of course, I'm going to try different form indications, as Antonio would say over here. Still try to get the same effect, of course, as this. But you know, you don't... I don't want it to be exactly the same, just so I can experiment and see what I'm capable of, which in this case is not much. But Tyrion actually said a lot of good wisdom in that stream, like how, because people will be like, how do you learn? Like, do I have to do fundamentals? And the main thing he says is like, if you're having fun, you're learning, but learning is synonymous with discomfort, right? Learning is 100% synonymous with discomfort. I'm in pretty decent discomfort right now because while I'm drawing, I'm talking and I'm thinking about the horizon line and I'm thinking about the vanishing point that this is going to, and I'm trying to keep my hands steady while I draw, right? That's all really difficult to do. Every single one of those things is difficult to do on its own, and then in conjunction, it's much more difficult to do. Yeah, it's astronomically more tedious, or just consuming of the brain, right? So yeah, no, I completely agree with that. Is the fact that learning is synonymous with discomfort, right? And as artists, we just also have to accept the fact that, and he mentioned this as well, I'm just sort of regurgitating it and putting my own thoughts on it, which is basically his thoughts, but articulated better because I'm a god. But no, he also says at the end of the day, because it's funny, he's so skilled, but he's even saying like, oh, I wish I was better at this, and then but he's also self-aware, so he's like, well, that's the artist's plight, right? Every artist wishes they were better, you know, that's just how it is. And there are artists, and we just got to be grateful and then happy for essentially where we are right now, right? Budget TBT. But that's the thing. He's so inspirational, and he's literally my goal. But even he's like, okay, this is bad, this is shit. He was having a quote unquote bad art day, and that's another thing. As an artist, our job is to fucking represent the observable universe, as he put it, and I agree. Right? We literally have to fucking make we have to learn how to draw the universe, not just the world, but everything, literally everything. You know, and but it also comes down to whether you actually want to be an artist who can draw everything, i.e., a draftsman, or do you just want to be someone who's just excellent in one thing? He talked about generalist versus specialist, right? I think what is this? What did I do here? What the fuck? That doesn't make any sense. Whatever. I'll leave it. He talked about generalist versus specialist, right? And I think training as a generalist and then specializing was the gist of what he was saying, along with what Antonio says, right? Okay, so how the fuck would a bookshelf? Should this room just be empty? I do want it to be empty, actually. Because... But what can we put in here that won't take away from this character? Right? We can literally just do this, actually. Just create the ceiling. There you go. There you go. That's a nice little frame. Right? It doesn't take from him, but we're still re-establishing the perspective, which is very hard to think about. Right? It's very hard to think about the perspective. But how long have I been doing this? Am I gonna have enough time? Oh, it's only been 20 minutes. Hopefully I should have enough time to do everything else. But now I have to think about, because I've basically established the perspective, the background, the buildings, whatever. Not buildings, but whatever this construction is. Right? Now it's just my job, I guess, to render. Now I want to be very specific with my rendering. I don't want to noodle around and be like, oh, I'm gonna add some lines here, I'm gonna add some lines here. I don't want to do that shit. Okay, so first we'll do this because we've established that this is the pattern we're creating for these specific planes. But yeah, Broken Draw, great stream. Thank you for allowing me to once again shamelessly self-plug, right? But yeah, my backlog is weeks ahead. Today I'm going to be editing and queuing my videos again, and I'll have another month down. I'll have literally another month. I'll be a month ahead. It's what, April 26th or April 27th or some shit? Yeah, till the end of May. is when you'll probably see this, you know, or like beginning of fucking June is when you'll see this. But at that point, I'll be doing something else clearly. But yeah, okay. And then maybe this room can have. What can this room have? Maybe that's a bit too much. Well, it is technically, let's say it's like this. Right, so maybe we'll just see at the edge of a table. Right, and that will... Where is this going? Why is it going there? Hold up, I'm trying to think. That's basically a horizon line, so actually we'll see the underside of this more than anything. Something like that? Yeah. And let's just put a painting here. With my... Oh, fuck, I fucked up the... with my icon, I guess. With my channel logo. Which he actually drew on his stream, because I'm like, draw me. Because one of the last things he was drawing is just himself drawing. Like he was just drawing himself, doing what he was doing in the stream, drawing, well, a bunch of different characters he was creating, or looking at him. And I was like, okay, now draw me, judging you as well. And he made me super tall, but I thought I've established that I'm a manlet, so. I mean, I'm like, what, 5'7"? Is that really, that is definitely manlet territory, but, you know, life is still positive and uplifting. But if you're 5'7" and, oh no, wait, I'm 5'7.5", so if you're 5'7", you're fucked. But once you hit that half, guys, that's when life really begins, right? Okay, what other shit do I see? It's a lot of ellipses. There's a lot of ellipses happening. Right. Whenever I look at the houses around me, there's always shit like this. But I don't know what that is for. But it is there. And I guess it adds visual interest, at least in the drawing. Right? Okay. So... what else can be done? Well, if I can't think of anything... Well, I did want it to like add some shit jutting out, but I don't know if I can do that anymore. Something like this. Right? See, I did want to do something like that. Yeah, that adds to the perspective. See, now that's like a thing jutting out, I guess. Right? And maybe we can just do very light rendering. Or like form indication, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Cool. Let me rest my brain. All right, cool. I mean, to be honest, I'm so shocked that I'm even able to create something like this, right? It's pretty fucking awesome, I'm not gonna lie. Now the question is, do I over render this or just leave it as it is? Maybe I can just add little visual interest here, right? Yeah, I guess that's fine. It's just more form indications or whatever, because it is going inwards. There you go. Oh, it didn't even do the top one. Cool. Okay. What else? What else can we do? I think this is actually pretty decent. If I were to start adding lines and shit, at the very least, we should just make it more form indicated lines, right? Something like this. Just to reinforce the perspective. Yeah, something like that. See? Same with here, right? Something like something that showcases this has, I guess, texture, but fuck that up a little bit. But something that just showcases that this has texture, but at the end of the day, that's not the reason. That's not what we're focusing on. We're not focusing on, oh, this building behind it has texture, right? We're kind of I'm trying to make sure that we focus purely on these fuckers over here and the story that's being told. To make this guy stand out more, maybe I could just do something like this. Right? Again, always, I'm really just, as much as I can. It's like meditation, right? Where every rep is just focusing on your breathing again. It's like every rep here is just trying to focus on the overall perspective as much as I can, right? Maybe I can just, maybe this seems a bit excessive, but I really do want this guy to be a bit more prominent. Maybe that highlights him a bit better, who knows? Maybe something like this too, right? Just some sort of weird architectural thing. There you go. I feel as if that actually gives him maybe more interest. I don't fucking know. Again, I don't know what I'm doing. Clearly, because look at how fucking off this goddamn cylinder is. But I should have just done it how I want. Oh man, I already know what it should have looked like now. Sometimes intuition is more important than calculation. There really is a fine line between all of them. But there you go. Just little indications. I really don't want to do anything more than that. Because now look, like it's framing it, I would like to believe, right? It's framing this piece of shit. Maybe this back end can be completely rendered out. Yeah, it can. Makes you pay attention more to this fucker, this betrayer of names, Samuel, formerly known as Buck the Lock or some shit, right? Yeah, there you go. Cool. And then I guess I can just add a little framing just for shits. Yeah, there you go. Okay, cool. So I think the back is done. I think I've done what I can. Well, apparently this is all in shadow, so That would fuck with everything else. I guess I'll just put these in shadow. Or maybe it's just painted that way and it's not shadow, it's just black. Because it wants to be black. Well, technically this is just a dark value, so this could be dark red for all we know. Let's add some shingles right here. It could look more like a roof of sorts. Like that. You know? Cool. And same with this. I guess this will just be a dark color technically. Okay, cool. Now I guess maybe I should just my fucking tendency to just want to render everything, bro. Well, again, when I'm better, maybe I'll have more direction. Oh shit, see, that's the thing, I'm not keeping the perspective in mind, so it's wonky, but I think I'm still doing an okay job. Something like that, although there's too much space here. Yeah, well, using this pen is difficult. Oh yeah, fucking Broken Draw, sacrilegious, he said this wasn't his favorite pen. How dare you, bro? How fucking dare you? How could you even think of saying that? I thought he was the one. In fact, I thought he was my one. It turns out he's just another piece of shit. Going against everything I believed in. I mean, if it's not my opinion, it's the wrong opinion, right? So, I guess I expected too much. Something like that. I gotta go over it again. Do I have to go over it again? Maybe not, but I've already established some shit with here. So, it is what it is. But I'm glad I didn't overdo this background. Right? In fact, this could all be in black too, right? Could the ceiling? Maybe it doesn't make too much sense, but... Still recording, right? Thank goodness. Fucking annoying if it wasn't. I just need to be very careful about this. Something like that. That can be filled in. I guess that, I just wanted to make that a bit clearer, but probably didn't work out too well. Okay, and that's the ceiling over here. Yeah, well, again, I'm always trying my best to... Okay, wow, that really, I think, cements it much more cleanly, which is good. See, sometimes you experiment and it's shit. Sometimes you experiment and it's less than shit. It's decent. Oh, and yeah, Tyrion or Broken Draw said some really nice things as well. Where he's like, subscribe to Viggy before his channel blows up. Ah, the fact that he believes my channel will blow up, so kind. But yeah, cool, we're done. Wow, this looks pretty fucking cool now, in my opinion. I just need to add foliage over here, and then we're done. And how long? 34 minutes, oh fuck, so I actually gotta pad out for time now, and really make my foliage look good. But let me rest my brain. I mean, yeah, if it's been 34 minutes, and let's say I still have time for the foliage and everything, I could always just add like another helicopter here. Or maybe I can add a plane there again. Because I tried observing, actually fuck it, might as well just add one now. I tried observing a plane a couple times, so there's maybe I can remember it a bit better. It's like, okay, so we can do this, right? Which is the cockpit area. Okay, because we tried a plane last time, didn't work. Now I'm just gonna try to remember it again. So the wings, because this thing is like this. The wings are more curved. They're like that. Maybe that's a bit too much curve, but then we also have, it's kind of like that. Did I fuck that up? I think I already fucked it up. But because it's curved, I can do something like this, right? Something like that maybe, although this is technically should be a lot more wide. You know, with my family, you can never tell if they're arguing or they're just having a wonderful conversation. And then the back, there's like a that, right? And then also jutting out like so. And then I can actually add a machine gun shooting at this fucker. Let's make it a bit more intense, why don't we? Perspective for this is gonna be completely off. But it doesn't matter because we're just dicking around. Just like some shit like that. We can just make it part of the plane. If you ever worry that you're not creative enough, don't worry. Just watch my videos and you'll realize that you still have fucking endless creativity compared to the shit I pull. If anything, my channel is just being inspiration for people to be like, wow, even with someone who drilled this much, he's still so shit. Therefore, if I drilled even half that much, I could probably be a lot more creative than he is. Right? Let's try something again here. Something like that. Wait, we need to add one of these fuckers. Fuck it, this guy's just gonna be a smiley face. There you go. And let's indicate the form again. There you go. I don't know what this is, but we'll just add texture to it, I guess. Whee! Okay, so clearly I still can't draw planes. I think what I'm gonna do is just focus on 2 reference items after today, or probably tonight or whatever, right? Actually, maybe not tonight. I think my friend reached out to me, wanted to talk about some stuff, so I want to make sure he's good. But there you go. That's a better little design, right? Connect that. These wings still seem very off. There you go, maybe something like that. This shit does not look like a fly. These wings need to be much bigger in comparison to the body, actually. That's the big thing. So maybe I can just increase it, get it a bit off screen, right? There you go. And now it can just look like it was intentional. Still doesn't look good. Yeah, I think they're just having a good old time and laughing about something. But who can tell these days? Not I. Okay, that's a pretty shit looking plane. I think we've established that it's par for the course for me, right? Yeah, definitely par for the course. Oh, it's voting day today. I'm gonna vote for Green Party. Nobody ever fucking votes for them. I want to be a contrarian. Okay, whatever. That looks like shit. It doesn't work. But that's what it is. And at least it still kind of looks like it's part of the perspective, but you know. All right, let's start adding foliage. I want this foliage to be sparse, but still have some sort of a form to it, right? That doesn't really look like foliage. It should have been thinner. There you go. Yeah, right. I just want it to be a bit more realistic. Like this way you can actually practice perspective a bit better too, I think. It's basically like a ribbon almost, right? These are basically, leaves can be thought of as little ribbons. And that's the funny thing, is you can have many different types of foliage as well. So these are like the weird ones that I guess bend a little. Yeah, they twist, come back around. You know, that type of stuff. And of course, we'll just add some shading, I guess. Not that I know how to shade in particular, but something that just highlights that they're here. Right? And the rest of the floor can be covered with tiny little fuckers like these. Right? But again, even with weeds, you can have weeds that they're clumped together. So it's kind of like, I'm still trying to think about the perspective while I do this, obviously. I mean, it takes time, and especially when you don't understand much about what you're doing, it definitely takes time, right? For example, I don't really know if what I'm doing makes sense, but I'm just trying to remember the weeds that I saw today, and they seem to be clumped together like this. Now, this is just stuff that I see in my morning walk in my neighborhood, and again, trying to keep the perspective in mind, right? While still kind of leading up. Now this grass over here, right, if we're going here, it's gonna be much bigger now, right? Because it's closer. So that's something I think is important to establish as well. Maybe we can have a little flower here. Try to think about what flowers would look like in perspective. Right? You have a couple of flowers maybe overlapping. Again, it's very difficult because I have to constantly remind myself that, hey, this thing that you're drawing on, you're not drawing on it, it already exists. You're simply using line to showcase how it exists, where it exists, what part of its existence do you want to showcase, right? That's also very important. And again, maybe this foliage doesn't look that good. I don't think it looks really that good at all, but the more I practice, the more I try to think about it properly, maybe, the more it'll start to make sense. right? Again, I do a lot of unnecessary, I guess, rendering, but I don't know. I'm just learning, right? I haven't even taken the intermediate shading course. I mean, they haven't come out with it yet, but ArtWatt has mentioned they'll come out with the shading course. Antonio has, when he did an interview with Me and I Draws. Me and I Draws. Me and I always thought it was Me and E for the longest time. But unfortunately, I've convinced myself that it's Me and I, so that looks pretty decent. I mean, it's okay. It's fine. And how much time do we have? 45? Okay. So we'll have 15 minutes for me to try to make decent plants and probably noodle around again a little bit. I like that word, noodling. I'm gonna noodle. Oh, I'm gonna noodle so hard all over the floor. Yeah, I like that word. There you go. Maybe that looks more like a shrub of sorts, but again, it needs more. It doesn't. They don't just stick out from what I've seen. They also have little things like this that sort of indicate the plane that they're on. Funny enough, right? Like that. And for further indication, I could just shadow the bottom. Speaking of shadow, today's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends, have agreed to sponsor my next video, which is why they're not today's sponsor. It's just a little sneak peek for you guys. Yeah, the perspective's still pretty fucked here, as we can see. It's like this, and then it's supposed to be much more, what's it called? It's supposed to be converging a lot more here. Like, technically, this should be like this, but, or like fucking like that or some shit. It should be like that. Right? Well, maybe I can add some shadow here. Is it correct? Who knows? Is it even the right light source? Who knows? But did I do it with absolutely zero thought? Yes! Absolutely I did. Okay. Biggest thing to keep reminding yourself as you draw is that this exists, right? You're not just drawing lines or anything. You're literally creating a reality which you are maintaining as a consistency in your mind, right? That's the biggest thing. Is this is not something, you are not drawing, you are bringing a world to life. You know, you kind of have to convince yourself of that. Maybe it sounds a bit retarded, but it's literally what a draftsman does, right? No, this is actually even more fucked now. Let's try to make this. It's just gonna be worse and worse every time. I'm gonna stop. Just leave it. After this, I'm just leaving it. Yeah, because it's just gonna get worse and worse. I can't fix this. I can't fix it. It can't be fixed. So just leave it. Just leave it. Okay, what other type of plants do I see? I saw like little tiny ones like these. Kind of like bunched together. Right? Sometimes they overlap, sometimes some are larger. Right? It's almost a bush of sorts. That's the sort of texture you want to create. I think this is also a worn, torn area, so maybe having some little pieces of foliage would also help with the realistic aspect of it. And even while I'm doing this, I'm trying to think about the form. Like, these outlines are, in my mind, and to the best of my ability, to indicate form. Right? If you want to draw with accuracy and rotate, you must draw with form. You know, does that mean I do it all the time? I mean, I do my best, but even now, I just lost my place in the perspective, and I have to think it back again. That's the hardest part, is actually constantly zooming out. Tyrion mentioned this, or Tyrion, I believe, sorry, not Tyrion. Tyrion mentions this too, i.e. Broken Draw, where he's like, you have to zoom out. This little thing that you're drawing is part of a much bigger whole, you know, a very prolapsed hole, but a hole nonetheless. So you have to keep in mind that this is real, right? Again, this is real, this exists. This is not something that's just you're just putting down and then you zoom in onto this thing that you're putting down. No, this is something that existed with or without you. But now that you're here, it's your job to fill it in, right? That's the way I'm trying to think about it. Because I don't think there's any other way to think about it. But again, obviously I'm very new. I'm sure as this channel goes on, 5 years, 10 years from now, I'll have more insights. It's gonna happen. I'm already losing sight of what it's like to be a beginner, but I know how much work I put in, and I know how difficult it was, and I know how difficult this is. So I always try to keep the beginner mentality, which is constantly learning, constantly struggling, right? Like going through legitimate difficulties, but also constantly thinking, right? I don't want to get to the point where beginners are like, how do I do this? And I just say, just do it, mate. Exactly in that sort of intonation and burp sequence. But I would really like not to get to that point. Antonio already mentions that a lot of our teachers don't know how to teach because for them it's so intuitive now. I obviously want a lot of these things to be intuitive, right? But I don't want to lose sight of what I did to make it intuitive, which is also why I started this channel, right? Because it's literally a catalog of everything I'm doing, my thought processes, how it feels as I learn, you know? I wasn't doing this 4 months ago. So now you've seen my progress and you can say, okay, yeah, you know, and the biggest thing is you can hear me having the exact same struggles I'm always having, which is, does this look good? I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, blah, 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 right? And that's, I think, very important. I just want it to also be a sort of reassurance for beginners as well, to be like, okay, well, if I put the work in, I'm still gonna struggle, but at least I know the struggle will mean something because look, this guy struggled and he's getting slightly and very, very gradually better over time, right? That's what I want. That's what one of my bigger goals for this channel is just reassurance to the fucking Nimrods who are always bitching and like, oh, I'm a beginner, oh. Well, I'm also a beginner, and now as you can see, you know, making decent progress. It's not perfect. This all looks like shit, but it is my issue. But yeah, what other plants are there? There's a fucking infinite amount of plants. So I just gotta make sure I understand what those plants are, right? There you go. You can have something like that, which again, like I said, is basically a ribbon. This is as simple as it gets when it comes to creating plants, I think. Although again, my I guess design sense could use a lot of work, right? I don't even think that looks, it doesn't even look like it's proper in the perspective actually. So to fix that, maybe I could do something like this. Something like that. There you go. Now it looks more like it's in here. But again, indicate some form, even though it's very difficult. Again, I just lost my place again in the perspective. See, it happens all the time. I literally just lost my place in the entire scene and the horizon line. That's the biggest thing. It's got to constantly think about the horizon line, got to constantly think about the perspective this thing resides in, right? Thinking is the main thing. If you're not thinking, you're not learning. You know, intuition is nice and all, but I really don't want to rely on it. I really want to rely on my own intelligence, or lack thereof. But yeah, I don't want. I don't want to think of it intuitively. I don't want to, because Kim Jung is always thinking, even if, like, again, the levels of thinking you'll do will get more and more intuitive, and it'll be higher level, right? It'll be more advanced, but the baseline, what you think about, should relatively stay the same, right? Form, perspective, lighting, shadow, all those things as you learn them. Otherwise, like, I'll lose sight. For me personally, I think I'll lose sight. If you want to learn intuitively, go ahead, or if you want to draw intuitively, go ahead. But for me, it's just not what I want to do. See, like, I literally lose it like every few seconds, and I have to keep reorienting myself. And that's another thing Tyrion mentions, is just, it's kind of, you're just in a haze, and you're slowly trying to think your way out of it, right? You're doing your best, of course, but yeah, you're just in this haze of, especially when it comes to drawing for imagination. You're really just trying to figure it out as you go. Of course, you have an idea. I had an idea of this, and I sort of thought I knew what it looked like, but now it looks not very different enough. I don't have as much foliage as I would have liked, right? Some things, just in my opinion, could have been better. Again, my mind, my hand-eye coordination, like my muscle memory for this sort of grasp movement, right? This quick one isn't that good, so it's very shoddy, right? It's very shoddy. And again, I just lost the perspective again, because I'm talking while I'm doing this as well, but it's a skill. And I'm glad I'm building the skill, talking while drawing, because that means I can multitask, right? I can literally think about the entire scenery, the horizon line, the perspective, as I draw. And that's important too. Because obviously, I want to think out loud about what I'm doing, but also want to, not entertain per se, but I want to have the ability to focus on multiple things at once. And in art, I think that's a blessing, right? To have extreme focus, even if there are people around you, people asking you questions, which, with my level of fame that I'll achieve, people will definitely be asking me questions. Come on. Yeah, I'm so excited to be so shameless for sponsors. I'm genuinely excited. Let's add maybe shadow here. Wait. Same with this. Okay, this looks like foliage. It looks fine. I think this is okay. It's been 57 minutes. Let me rest my brain, and maybe I can fucking over-render something else, and then we'll be done. But cool. How long did this take me? 1 hour, 2 hour, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. 5 hours. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right. I'm back after my little spacing effect break. Spacing effect break. Wait, something's off. Oh yeah, okay, no, this is still part of it. Just indicate a little right there. All right, yeah, we have what? 2 minutes, a minute and a half. I'll probably spend a bit longer. I don't like being exactly at the hour mark, because obviously I do talk a little bit. A little bit, yes, a little bit. But I do think this is more accurate than this, because this one, it's going that way, which doesn't make any sense. Oh, I think my parents are yelling now. Probably make it sound as if I have extreme family problems. I don't. We're just a loud family. Right. Well, everybody has family problems, but mine in specific are related to trauma and molestation. I molested myself as a child. That's the trauma. I was always wondering why. Why am I touching myself? And then I turned 15. I realized it was just masturbation. But until then, it was quite scary. It was like a good 3 days. Okay, that's something. Look at that. I've unnecessarily added something there. Can I fix this? Maybe I can. If I can just... There you go. Oh, look at that. And now I think I kind of fixed it. Because this is supposed to be going like that. So we can just do something like this. Ta-da! Now it looks like it's in perspective. There you go. I fixed it, boys. Oh my god. And just to make it clear that this is part of the tank. There you go. There you go. Look at that. Now it all makes sense. Kind of. Not really. Because this still needs to be like that. Whatever. Well, I have created yet another over-rendered mess. But I did it from my mind. And now I'm doing little hand motions to showcase that I do have emotions and I can emote. But yeah, cool, fun, awesome, fucking, I mean, really, really enjoyable, right? Again, an over-rendered mess, completely an over-rendered mess, but I did it from my mind and it's the first step, right? I'm gonna spend the next, I don't know, however long. Let's do 3 things. I'm gonna focus on learning how to draw guns, right? Let's just try to figure, okay, maybe 2 things. I'll see, because we all know that I just tend to completely go all in on whatever I'm trying to learn, right? So maybe we should just stick to gun and plane, right? And I'll just call this series Drawing from Reference, and then in brackets, Visual Library. I don't know, I'm gonna have to think about it. It has to sound funny, unique, simple, right? Practicing reference drawing, and then in brackets, I don't know, Visual Library Acquiring. That doesn't sound good. I'll have to figure it out. But either way, I think that's it, right? Yeah, as always, like, subscribe, or fuck off, I don't care, but I do care, so keep me on in the background as an ASMR drawing channel, right? I can't wait to completely fuck that experience too with ads. Once I can get, if I do get monetized, because I start every goddamn video with what's up cunts, what's up fuckers, what's up maggots, all that shit, right? And I stutter a lot, so nobody wants to hear that. But I cannot wait to absolutely fuck these videos with ads, right? I'm thinking 1 ad per second, so you know, just in between every word, you'll get like 5 ads maybe. That should be pretty good. Yeah, that's top tier ASMR right there. Completely take you out of your flow state. I can't fucking wait. So yeah, like, subscribe, or fuck off. I don't care which, except I clearly do. And as always, fuck you for watching. Keep drawing, and please give me money. Thank you.